So welcome guys back to another video in the channel. We are doing our Premier League predictions for match day 9 now of the Premier League, and the international break is now over and we are going to get straight into the Premier League fixtures we are predicting today. First of all, just before we get started, I just want to say if you haven't joined my FPL league yet, please make sure to do so. On the screen now are the leaders from match day 8 now before the international break, so let's see how you guys do in match day 9. So the first game of the Premier League is Newcastle versus Chelsea. Now looking at the two sides in the table, first of all, Newcastle, they are sitting 13th with 8 games played and 11 points with a -3 goal differential. So I think for them, they're doing quite okay. They're doing very average. They will look to improve upon their performances before the international break, because they started off with the 2-0 win versus West Ham, then lost 3-0 to Brighton, then drew 1-1 to Tottenham, then beat Burnley 3-1 before losing 4-1 to Manchester United, drawing 1-1 to Wolves, beating Everton 2-1, and then after that to Southampton, losing 2-0, and then now they are playing Chelsea. So they've got a decent record. They will definitely want to improve upon that moving into the second half of this next part of the season, the next quarter of the season, if you like. And for Chelsea, we're going to look at now. Chelsea, again, I think they could have had a better start, but of recent form, they've actually done all right. First of all, they beat Brighton 3-1, then they lost to Liverpool 2-0, then drawing 3-3 to West Brom, then beating Crystal Palace 4-0, then drawing again 3-3, but this time to Southampton, drawing 0-0 to Manchester United, beating Burnley 3-0, and beating Sheffield United 4-1, and that has put them in a very good place, Chelsea, going into this game against Newcastle, and that has put them into 5th place with 8 games played and 15 points, so 4 more than Newcastle. And I think the clear favourites in this game will be Chelsea with their superb attack at the moment. Ziyech just getting into his form. I think Chelsea have a lot more to offer, which is why in this game I will give Chelsea a 3-0 win in this one. The next game in the Premier League is Aston Villa versus Brighton. Now again, we are going to have a quick look at both teams, analysis of both teams. So starting off with Aston Villa. Now Aston Villa, they've had a very good start to the season, I think, and their first game was postponed versus Manchester City, but moving into the second game, they beat Sheffield United 2-0 before beating Fulham 3-0, and then beating Liverpool 7-2, then beating Leicester City 1-0, and then losing 3-0 to Leeds United, losing 4-3 to Aston Villa, losing 4-3 to Southampton, which did put them in a bad place going into the game against Arsenal, but they did actually win that game 3-0. So Aston Villa going into this game with good knack, but they've played 7 games of 15 points, and if they do win their game in hand against Man City, they will be on 18 points out of 8, but I don't know when they'll play that game next. But looking at the other team, which is Brighton, they could have had a better start to the season. I think they haven't been great, but they lost 3-1 to Chelsea, and then they beat Newcastle 3-0, and then lost to Manchester United 3-2, losing 4-2 to Everton, drawing 1-1 to Crystal Palace, drawing 1-1 to West Brom, losing 2-1 to Tottenham, and then drawing 0-0 to Burnley. And I think they have to improve upon that. They haven't really picked up many wins, and at the moment they only have 6 points off 8 games. So if Graham Potter wants to try and avoid relegation this season, it's important they pick up something against Aston Villa, but it's going to be very hard because they're playing so well at the moment. But I think I will have to give this one to Aston Villa, and I will give them a 2-0 win in this one. The next game is a huge one. It is Jose Mourinho versus Pep Guardiola. What a rivalry that game should be. And it is Tottenham versus Manchester City, a huge game in the Premier League. Manchester City, looking at them first because I've come across them first, are sitting 10th in the Premier League, 7 games played. Obviously they do have that game in hand versus Aston Villa, on 12 points, same as Arsenal at the moment, but obviously they do have that game in hand. But Man City not doing the greatest at the moment. But Tottenham Hotspur, they've had a very good start to the season. Some are also calling them title contenders with 8 games played and 17 points, and they've scored 19 goals this season. So they've been very good for themselves, and they will look to improve upon their performances. And looking at both teams' form going into this one, first of all, Tottenham losing 1-0 to Everton, then beating Southampton 5-2, then drawing to Newcastle 1-1, beating Manchester United 6-1, drawing 3-3 to West Ham, beating Burnley 1-0, beating Brighton 2-1, and then beating West Brom 1-0. Looking at Manchester City's form, I'll just find them here. So Man City's form going into this one, obviously they did have that first game versus Aston Villa ruled out because they had an extra week off, but then they beat Wolves 3-1 before losing to Leicester City 5-2, drew 1-1 to Leeds, beat Arsenal 1-0, and then drew to West Ham 1-1, and then just about beat Sheffield United 1-0 before drawing to Liverpool in their last game 1-1. So going into this one, Manchester City will be a bit worried because of Jose Mourinho's side, but hopefully they will try and pull out a performance, and I can see a draw in this one, which is why I'll give this a 2-2 draw. Next game is Manchester United versus West Brom. Now, looking at Manchester United, they're sitting 14th in the table. They do have a game in hand, but again, they're not doing very great at the moment. Only 10 points out of 7 games. They would, you do expect them to do better, but they have lost to Crystal Palace 3-1, beaten Brighton 3-2, lost to Tottenham 6-1, beat Newcastle 4-1, and then they've drawn 0-0 to Chelsea before losing 1-0 to Arsenal, and then most recently, before the international break, they beat Everton 3-1. So Manchester United, they're finishing off before the international break quite well against Everton, but they will be looking to improve. Now against the West Brom side, who again have been quite bad this season, only picking up 3 points off 8 games and losing the rest, 3, literally they've picked up 3 draws and the rest they've lost. So I think for Manchester United, this will be quite an easy game for them to go into, which is one of the reasons why I will give Manchester United a 3-1 win in this one. Moving into the Sunday games, first of all, Fulham versus Everton. Now looking at Fulham first, again, they've had a very poor start to the season. They are out of the relegation zone at the moment, but obviously that could change. Sitting 17th at the moment, losing 3-0 to Arsenal at the start of the season before losing 4-3 to Leeds, losing again to Aston Villa, losing against the Wolves, but then picking up their first point in match day 5 against Sheffield United, losing again to Crystal Palace, and then beating West Brom, which was a huge win for them, before most recently losing to West Ham 1-0. So Fulham do have to improve quite a lot. But looking at Everton, they had a very good start to the season, but again, they have dipped away, most recently losing 3-1 to Manchester United, Everton, and they've picked up 13 points of 8 games. Yes, they've had James Rodriguez, who was a key part player for them at the start of the season, was injured up until this United game. So again, for Everton, they will be looking to improve, beating Tottenham 1-0 at the start of the season, then beating West Brom 5-2, beating Crystal Palace 2-1, beating Brighton 4-2, drawing 2-2 in the Merseyside derby versus Liverpool, losing 2-0, then losing 2-1 to Everton, and then losing 3-1 to Manchester United. So not the greatest form. Everton will be looking to improve, which is one of the reasons why I will give Everton a win in this one, and I think it'll be a tight one. I think it'll be a 1-0 win. Next game is Sheffield United versus West Ham. Now again, Sheffield United, they have been very poor this season, very, very poor, only picking up 1 point this season out of 8 games. So bad for them, because they did so well last season, and unfortunately that's just how it is right now. And they are up against a West Ham side who again started the season quite well, but have dipped away most recently, and they are sitting 11 points out of 8 games. And looking at how West Ham season has gone, they lost 2-0 to Newcastle, then lost again to Arsenal, but then beat Wolves 4-0, and then beat Leicester City 3-0. So they've had very inconsistent performances, drawing 3-3 to Tottenham, drawing 1-1 to West Ham, and then just about losing to Liverpool 2-1 before scraping past Fulham with a 1-0 win, which they easily could have drawn as well, because Ademola Lookman did miss that penalty. So very up and down for West Ham, but I do still think they'll win this game against Sheffield United, and I will give them quite a sneaky 2-1 win in this one. Next game in the Premier League is Leeds United versus Arsenal. Now, I'm not going to talk about the in-depth form of these two sides, because I think I will be doing a separate video on this as an Arsenal fan, as if you don't know already, and you should look out for that video around Wednesday or Thursday at the latest. I'll bring that video out where I'll look at both sides. But Arsenal obviously not doing very well, losing 3-0 to Aston Villa, so we'll be looking to bounce back in this one. But the next game is Liverpool versus Leicester City, a huge game at the top of the table, very, very big. Leicester City with 18 points off 8 games, top of the Premier League at the moment, and Liverpool 17 points off 8 games. So it's a big tussle there at the top of the table. Brendan Rodgers will be looking to overthrow his former side, and I think it'll be quite a tough game, and a tough game both sides will be looking forward to. Looking at the form of both sides going into this one, first of all, Leicester City beating West Brom 3-0, beating Burnley 4-2, beating Man City 5-2, losing to West Ham 3-0, and then losing to Aston Villa 1-0, and then beating Arsenal 1-0, and then most recently, and then they beat and Leeds 4-1, and then most recently, yes, they've beat Wolves 1-0. So Leicester City doing very well this season. We'll be looking to improve upon that. And Liverpool, they have got a lot of injury problems, and again, how will they cope? Obviously losing Joe Gomez most recently, but they beat Leeds 4-3, beat Chelsea 2-0, beat Arsenal 3-1, lost to Aston Villa 7-2, drew 2-2 to Everton, beat Sheffield United 2-1, beat West Ham 2-1, and most recently drew 1-1 to Manchester City. So I think it's going to be a very tough game, in which I do think Liverpool will actually win this one. I do favour Liverpool in this game, just because I think they have a lot of quality in their side, and the Jurgen Klopp will be looking at this as a potential, title match for them, just trying to win the league over like Leicester City, who looks like they will be challenging this season. And I do think Liverpool will win this one. It will be a tight one, but I'll give them a 1-0 win. Next one is Burnley versus Crystal Palace. Now Burnley, looking at them, not doing very well either. 2 points of 7 games. They really need to get a grip of themselves if they want to do much better than that. But Crystal Palace, they're doing alright as well. Not as well, but they are doing alright, sitting in 8th position, 8 points, 8 games played and 13 points, scoring 12, conceding 12. They need to concede less goals, but they do have goals in their team with Eze and Wilfried Zaha and the players they've got in their team. I think they're doing very well at the moment. We'll be trying to secure, a mid-table finish this season under Roy Hodgson, because, he has come under pressure over the last year or so, and I think to put that to bed, he has to try to get them a higher finish this season for Crystal Palace. But I do think in this game he will beat Burnley, and I think he will get past them quite comfortably, which is why I'll give them a 2-1 win in this one. Last but not least, but in an interesting game, Wolves versus Southampton. Looking at Wolves first of all, they are sitting 9th at the moment, not doing as well as last season, but still doing alright for themselves, sitting in 9th position, 13 points, 8 games played. Looking at Southampton, however, they are doing also very well. They're in 4th, 8 games played, 16 points. Also look like they're in a title battle. Very interesting front four there in the Premier League. But Southampton are proud of that, and they will be hoping to overthrow Wolves. But Wolves have a lot of quality in their side, and on their day they can actually beat anyone. But I think this is going to be a very, very interesting game, and I do think it's going to be a high-scoring one as well. Both sides kicking it out, which is why I'll give this a 3-3 draw. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe if you want more of this, and I'm trying to bring out more videos. Again, it's quite hard because I have a lot going on, but I'm trying my best. But yeah, this series, if you are enjoying it, show some support on it, and join the FPL League if you want to. Other than that, I haven't got much to say. Leave your predictions in the comment section down below. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.